comment down below if you have your own studio, how long you've had it, are you mixing, do you have clients, are you doing it for fun, are you doing your own music? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Erickson Presents Mixing Tutorials. I need to go to the gym, y'all. Bruh, like, I don't know what happened. Okay, I can tell you what happened. I hurt myself. I sprained a muscle on my neck trying to bench press. And ever since then, man, I just lost my motivation. So I got to get back to that because it's getting pretty bad. If y'all if y'all got any techniques on how y'all manage going to the gym and your lifestyle and mixing, drop that in the comment. Let me know. Maybe I can take on you know, some of your standards. I don't know. But anyhow, we just gonna keep it going. So today I want to talk about a home studio and the 7 things that I wish I would have known about a home studio before I started. But a lot of us want to have a home studio for whatever reason you would like to have yours. I can tell you my reasons. When I was younger, I started going to the studio, and I did talk about this in I think my second video in this playlist. But basically, what it boiled down to was I got tired of spending money on studio time. That was it for me. I was one of those people where when I would go to the studio, I had a piece of paper written down or typed out, and I would have, like, for each block of 15 minutes of the session, I knew where I should be in the session. So I did a lot of prep. I memorized my verses, which is okay. Side note: if you're an artist and you're watching this video, if you're gonna book studio time with anybody, can you please memorize your verse? Just do it. I know you want to get in here, you want to bring your phone, you want to hold it up, you think you look good, but you sound like you don't know what you're doing when you're messing up 100 times because you don't know how to lay the verse. That means you just haven't practiced. Practice makes perfect. I don't know how to practice, and to the point where you don't need your phone or you don't need the piece of paper that you have, and you can deliver the verse flawlessly. Then you're ready to go to the studio, because I mean, you're just gonna waste a lot of time. I have my stuff written down as far as 15 minutes go. I knew where I should be. I should be by the hook by this part. I should be done with the song. Like, I had it all. That's just how I always was. I went to the studio with a briefcase. Okay, I'm very time punctual. So yeah, I got tired of spending money because I actually wanted to get some of that time back, and I felt like, you know, when I get into the studio, it would be fun to when I'm doing all those rehearsals and I can, like, play with different things and I can see how things come across. I can say things a different way, and I can actually do it while I'm on, you know, in the actual studio mic, and it's sounding real good as I'm listening to it back. So yeah, that was a big sell for me to want to start putting my own studio together. I was just doing it as an artist at the time. I wasn't doing it to be a engineer. It wasn't until I took a mix to one of the local studios in my city that you know, almost everybody went to, and the mix was trash. Like, let's just call it what it is. The mix was trash, and I just, at that point, I said, well, you know what? There's no point in me paying for this when I can probably do the same thing or better. So that's when I kind of started, you know, figuring it out on my own. Since I decided to have my own home studio, it first started in my mom's house. I lived with my mom at the time. I was home from college. Well, I guess we got to go back because it started in college, because we did have, you know, a program called Magic with a little Radio Shack mic. We were rapping and trying to, you know, do what we do, but if I listen to it now, it hurts my ears. Like, it didn't really sound good. So anyhow, I came home and I wanted to start my own studio, and I wanted to build my own studio at home, and I took a trip to Vegas. Went to Vegas to learn how to play blackjack, and actually came up on that weekend to where I came back from Vegas with more money than I left with. And that money is what I used to go buy my first microphone. And this microphone for me was that condenser microphone that was gonna, now put me into the realm of I'm actually really going to do this. So anyhow, I started my studio then. I started building. I had a computer. I had the two fat computer screens. I was just doing the most. And it was next to my bed. So I called it bedside because it was next to my bed. And that is the name of my studio to this day. It just kind of stuck. So from my mom's house, I moved into my first apartment. I had a 2-bedroom apartment. I turned one of those bedrooms into a studio, but that room was just a little too small. So then I ended up moving that into the living room, and the whole entire living room was a studio, and that was pretty dope. After that, I moved into a house with a girl I was talking to, dating, roommate situation, kind of whatever. In this place, once again, I took over the living room, and then after that, I moved into an apartment again, and I had a 2-bedroom apartment and did the same thing, turned one of the bedrooms into a studio. But by then I was getting a little better at putting it together. And now I'm here in this place, and all the trials and errors that I ran through has gotten me here into this room. And I've been here for, I don't know, 7 years, I don't know, something like that. But that is kind of like my little background as far as home studios go. I've been rocking the home studio style for a long time. So I feel like I would know a thing or two about it. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the 7 things that I wish that I would have known the first day that I started. Number 1, you don't need to buy expensive equipment to get your music to sound good. Now, this is one of the things that I wish that I had someone who could have just gamed me and told me from the jump, like, look, you don't need to buy all this equipment. You just need to learn the basics of what comes with your DAW. I think at the time I was using New Window. I had a friend who I would call on and I would try to learn from because, you know, he was doing it, and he kind of instilled in me that I could not get my mixes to sound good because I didn't have, you know, the good equipment. He would always say it's impossible. He would like, you can listen to a Jay-Z mix and you can listen to one of your mixes and there's a difference. Yes, there's a difference. But I always felt that with a lot of manipulation, you can get your mixes in the ballpark. I've always felt that. At the time, I didn't know how to do it, but I knew there was a way, and there should have been a way. So that is the first thing that I would have loved to have known, because I've spent a lot of my career, I guess you can say, buying things because I felt like buying it was going to make me better, and that was not the case. All it did was gave me one more thing to have to learn. For sure, if you are one of them people who feel like I need to buy something or I got to have the latest this or the latest that, I feel like that might not be the time to buy it. I believe that when it's time for you to buy something new is when you've exhausted everything that you have and you feel like you can't grow any further. So if you haven't done that and you don't have that feeling like, man, I'm at the ceiling of what I can do, what I have, and I gotta get this next thing to push me to the next phase. If that's not where you are, then you probably don't need to buy anything. So just take your time, learn the craft, watch YouTube videos. That's what the school of YT, the school of YouTube. Watch YouTube videos, and that will be a lot better in the long run at getting you to your craft a lot faster. The second thing that I wish I would have known is treatment. The panels on the walls and all that stuff. When I first started doing this at my mom's house, I had nothing at all. I was just in a room, no treatment. It was echoey. The vocals always sounded weird. That's just what I was doing. I had no idea how I can go to the Guitar Center and spend $25 on one of these squares, because I believe that's what they were a piece back when I was going. $25 a piece, and literally one time I did it. I bought it, I put it on the wall, I put the mic in front of it, and I started doing my thing. And the vocal just sounded bigger, it sounded warmer, it sounded more close, it sounded more personable. It just sounded good. So I can honestly say that took me probably two years before I realized that was something that I should have done. The third thing that I wish I would have known when I first started this was how to match my studio monitors to the size of my room. I have a subwoofer. When I bought the subwoofer, I think I was at my mom's house when I bought the subwoofer. The subwoofer was way too big for the room. I didn't even know how to mix. Why was I buying a subwoofer? Because I wanted to hear some bass. I felt that if I heard bass in the room, it was going to translate to the record somehow. And obviously, we know that did not happen whatsoever. My mixes were actually bassless because, you know, there was a big bass presence in the room. When I moved into my apartment, when I put the studio in the living room, then the subwoofer made sense because it had more room to breathe. Same as the next place when I was in the living room. But then every other spot after that, even including this one, the subwoofer, I can't even use the subwoofer. Like, this room is way too small for the subwoofer. As far as the monitors, I had some Yamahas that I sold. What sucked was when I sold them, I was like, man, they don't really sound good in this room. I just had to get rid of them. Plus, I was getting the CLA 10s. So I had a guy off Craigslist I was selling them to. He came by, and I actually sat in the back of the room, and I gave him the C. I was like, yeah, just go ahead and listen to them. And he was listening to them, and they sounded good, but like, I never, ever really listened to those speakers at the back of the room. When I heard them speakers at the back of the room, I did not want to sell them. And then that's when I realized, yo, these speakers are way too big for this room. I needed something smaller, or I just needed a bigger room. Yeah, had I known that when I first started, I definitely would have stuck with more smaller speakers to get my mixes to sound better. Number 4, I hope I'm numbering these right. Number 4, one thing that I wish I would have known about having a home studio is how lazy it can make you. It's something about it being in your home that if you don't have the drive to get up and go do it, you'll put it off because it's at home. Some people work better not at home. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of times where I'll come home and I'm like, man, I need to go mix this song, but you know what? I'll just lay down for a second, then I'll do it later, and then I end up not doing it. That's because it's at my house. I've thought about taking it out of here. Don't get me wrong. I have thought about taking it out of here. Because I know that if I actually get up, get dressed, get in the car, go to the studio, I'm going to work. I'm not gonna make that trip to the studio to sit there and do nothing. So that's one of the downfalls about having a home studio that I wish I would have thought about, because it does affect creativity as far as your motivation goes. But don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing. It's just that you got to have self-control, because there's been times where I used to hit all of my bass notes to all of my songs first thing in the morning. In the morning, I am Barry White all day, every day in the morning. So what I would do is I would record up until when I was finishing. I would get everything done. I would leave the session up. I would go to bed. When I wake up in the morning, before I did anything, I wouldn't even pee. I would just go straight to the booth, and then I would hit every bass note. Yes, that's exactly what I did, and it worked. So having a home studio, obviously, you know, if you have discipline and you can force yourself to do it, then yes, I would say it's a plus. This is why I painted the room red, because I actually wanted to feel like once I walked through my doors, I left my house. Even though I'm still here in this room, there's no other room in my house that has this feel. And it helps me kind of zone out into the studio. So I'm in the studio. So that helps. So number 5, what I wish I would have known when I first started this home studio thing is that you cannot hook everybody up. You can't. I mean, as you're starting and you're doing it for fun, you got all your peoples that they want to come through, they want to get hooked up, they want to do some songs, and in the beginning, it's going to be fun. But at some point in time, you're going to start getting good at what you do, okay? You cannot, I repeat, you cannot hook everybody up for free. You can't. You just can't do it, because if you did it, you would not be motivated to get things done. You have to start charging. You have to. I'll say it again. You have to start charging for your services. There is nothing, there is nothing like getting paid to do a mix or to do a session at a price that you set because you felt like that was worth your time. And a person said, okay, cut you a check. Like there is nothing like it. I can tell you right now, there's nothing like it. The first time I experienced getting paid what I was worth was I was doing some songs for a dance company out of Stockton, California, named Jams. I was doing their they had like a little program that they were dancing to, and they were singing. They actually had their singers that were coming in here, and they were singing, and I was mixing it down. And there was one particular day that one of my buddies, he who got me the gig. He was like, hey, I know this is short notice, and I know we got to get this done, but trust me, I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna make it worth your while. I was like, okay, cool. So they came in. They were here maybe 20 minutes. I don't know what it was, but I made a few $100s off of that. And the way he explained it to me is, well, you got to think it's your time, but at the same time, it's last minute and we need it now. So like all of those different things is what you can charge for, because at the end of the day, your time is money. And when I got that taste of getting paid for something that I feel that I'm worth, oh my God, that is a great feeling. So you can't hook everybody up. You just can't. At some point in time, like while you're learning your craft, cool, hook them up. But at some point in time, you got to start charging. And if they don't want to pay, they got to go. Because I promise you, new people will come and those people will pay. So that is what I did not know what was going to happen. And had I known that, I probably wouldn't have lingered around some people as long as I did. At the end of the day, if a person doesn't want to pay you what you're worth, like, you don't have to feel bad for that. You don't have to feel bad like, oh, you switched up on them. Like, no, I did not switch up on you, but you switched up on me because you don't want to actually support my business, but you want me to support yours. You got to look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Number 6 of what I wish I would have known when I was starting this. People are picky as hell. Very picky. I can mix something down where I feel sounds amazing, and I'll have an artist come in here like, well, I have some notes. You'll be like, well, some notes? What you mean some notes? Like, this fucking sound good. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to understand, like, it's not about what you want, it's about what they want. And if what you give them, you don't like, but they love, then you gave the right product out. And at the end of the day, once I learned that, a lot of people would always say, oh, I had, some of the dopest mixes and everything, but a lot of those mixes I didn't like. I'm just being honest. A lot of the mixes I didn't like, but I have the way I do my mixes is I'll mix the record and then I'll contact you like, all right, now I'm ready for your input. And we'll go back and forth until you're 100%. Like, I don't do the whole, you only get 3 of it. Nah, we gonna get it right. So, because when it leaves out of here, I want you to be 100% happy. And so, that's something you have to learn. You have to put your ego behind you. Like, you might feel like you're the dopest engineer in the world, but if this person wants those vocals louder, you gotta turn them up. So number 7, of which I wish I would have known when I was first starting this, can actually be applied to any business that you start. But I had to learn this. People who know you will not support you. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Okay, let me rephrase that. People who know you won't support you on the come up. They'll support you when you came up, if that makes sense. It's one of those things that you have to understand that, I don't know what it is. I can't necessarily call it hate. I mean, I'm pretty sure in some cases it is hate, but people aren't going to support you. You'll do a lot better going out and networking with people you don't know and starting to do your thing amongst circles of people who you've never met, because they'll give you a fair shot, as opposed to, your boy Tim or John or whatever you want to call their names. All of a sudden now you're trying to do this, and some of them gonna have like, oh yeah, let's do it, and some of them gonna be like, yeah, okay, all right. And if you're one of them people, if you're an entrepreneur and you've done a lot of things and you've done a lot, and now that you're doing something else, people will have that, oh, here we go again, kind of response to you. And it's like, it's fuel for the fire. It's like, okay, yeah, here we go again, but watch, this is gonna bubble. And you just have to be prepared for it. Be prepared when you post up things for people to not like it, and you're like, man, how can I can post something stupid and, you know, get 70 likes, but then I'll post something about my business and, you know, 3 people will like it, or nobody will like it. And that's one of the things you just gotta understand is gonna happen on the come up. But once you blow, then all those people is you'll get them. All those people you're gonna have. And one of my, I guess I can call him my mentor, the guy that I was going to the studio with, Ken Favors. If I can find that man, I would love to sit down with him now. But he always told me that in order to blow up in your city, you have to leave your city, blow up someplace else, and then your city will claim you. That was the best advice he's ever given me. So those are the 7 things that I wish I would have known when I started this studio. No regrets though. No regrets. I'm pretty sure the screen probably turned off behind me at some point in time because I just saw that it's not on. Whatever. If you made it to this part of the video, I just want to let you know that I do appreciate the watch time that you have given to me. Hopefully, these 7 things can actually help you get started if you haven't already. Just do it. Next video, maybe I'll talk about the things that if I was going to do it again, what I would buy to start. Now knowing what I know, like where would I put my money had I known what I know now? And yeah, that'll be my next video. So anyways, please hit the subscribe button, comment down below if you have your own studio, how long you've had it, are you mixing, do you have clients, are you doing it for fun, are you doing your own music? Let me know. I want to hear from you. Anyhow, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Home tomorrow. You know you got me, girl. Tomorrow, girl. I like the way that you move, the way you shake your body, girl. I got a whole